In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Kimber Custom TLE II. If you watched any of my videos in the past, and oftentimes I put different guns up for comparisons, you've probably seen this Kimber a number of different times in a number of different videos. I bought this Kimber over 12 years ago, and it's one of the few handguns from that time frame backwards that I still own. And it's also still in production, right? Which talks about the quality of the Kimber. Now, a lot of people have different opinions about Kimbers now and the various different versions that came out. I've done a number of different reviews on different types of Kimbers as well. But this is one of the ones that I've held on to ever since I bought it, and probably will hold on to it forever. And there's nothing really sexy about it when you look at it from the naked eye, but there's a reason why I still have this gun, and there's a reason why we're reviewing it today. Because most people would agree that this is arguably the best Kimber pistol made in production, period. Now, when you look at the name, the Kimber Custom TLE II, some people might wonder, well, what does all that mean, right? So TLE is an abbreviation for Tactical Law Enforcement, and it's the AKA for the LAPD Swat gun. That's what this was known for, because it was mirrored off of the specs in the gun that was ultimately produced and used by the Los Angeles Police Department SWAT teams. The number 2 goes into Kimber's unique firing pin safety activation grip system that they currently utilize, which is unique to their pistols. And to give you a little bit of history on this, a lot of people prefer, as do I, the Series 70 1911s. And by the way, all my guns here on the table have been safety checked. So if you ever wanted to find out, for example, if you have a Series 70s or 80s, a lot of the newer ones, high ends, are already Series 70s, but you're going to notice an absence of a plunger right there, where on these Series 80 models, like I have in this old Commander, you can see the plunger right here. And this is activated by the trigger system, which again, a lot of people in the 1911 world don't particularly like. Now, what they did in this case with Kimber is, you're going to see on the Kimbers, you're going to see a similar type plunger system. The difference is this plunger is not activated by the trigger, but rather by the grip safety. And when you push the grip safety, it pushes a little pin up into there and then activates the safety system. So unlike a Series 70 where you've got 3 safety mechanisms, you've got the grip safety, the manual safety, as well as the trigger, you also have that 4th safety, which is the pin system going up. And again, this, normally I don't like Series 80s from the context that the plunger that is activated by the trigger creates problems for as far as trigger quality. But in the case with the Kimber, they pretty much solved that issue to a degree by having the activation go in through the grip safety. So that's one of the differences you're going to see. It's not really a Series 80 pistol. It's not really a Series 70s either, because it has its own proprietary safety system, but it doesn't work against your trigger, which is one of the benefits of the gun. And we'll talk about what that means in a moment. Now, some of the features on here. So the first thing you're going to notice, it has a match grade barrel. The bushing is stainless steel. It's match grade. It also has a full length guide rod, and the plug is holed for the rod as well. So this is something you might see that's a little bit different than you would see on a traditional 1911, the John Moses Browning style, where you're going to have a guide rod that's captured in here with the spring, but you don't have a full-length guide rod. In this case, you have the full-length guide rod coming through, which means you have to put a hole in the plug for that to be able to operate. Now, some people argue that this is a better system because it creates, for example, more accuracy and better support for the recoil spring. Not sure I buy that argument personally. I haven't really noticed any major differences in accuracy with a full length as opposed to a standard length guide rod. And where the hell else is the spring going to go anyways? Never quite understood that argument either. But does it bother me that it's on this pistol? No. And it's fine. It works that way. Now, as far as the grips are concerned, you're going to notice it has some rubber grips on here. And these aren't pretty. You know, they're not beautiful. There's a lot of really nice decorative grips that you can put on 1911s now. That didn't come on my Kimber. And even though I changed out the grips a few times over the years, I always came back to these rubber grips. Why? Because I get the best purchase on these rubber grips and can shoot better with these than I can with any other grip out there. It might not look as sexy, but they work. They're also quarter-inch panel grips as well. So they're not the slimline grips. And again, if you see my other videos on my Commander models, I don't mind, and in fact, I prefer to have slim grips on my Commanders, but not on my full size. I want the full size 1/4 inch grips. I've got a standard hand, and that's just, to me, how I can get the best performance out. Now, as far as weight, it's a pretty standard 1911, so it comes in at 2 pounds 3 ounces. If it's loaded with an 8-round magazine, it comes in about 2 pounds 11 ounces. So you can see kind of it's just standard 1911 type material, and that brings us to what makes it up. So the first thing is the frame. The frame is a steel frame 1911. So some of the features on here, however, include a nice checkered front strap. The mainspring housing is checkered as well. Again, good features. Extended beaver tail safety with a memory bump. Now, over the past 12 years, I've noticed that they've moved away, apparently, with the new models to the memory bump has gone away, where you have more of the standard grip safety as opposed to the memory bump. Doesn't make any difference to me. I like them, and I can live without them too. It doesn't matter to me. It also comes with an extended thumb safety. It's not ambi, it's only righty only. So if you're a left-handed shooter, you'd either want to change that out, or this probably isn't the right gun for you. It has a slightly beveled mag well, but there is no undercutting on the trigger guard. So, and again, that's not that big of a deal. It's just a nice little feature I like on 1911s. And you'll notice it here on the Colt, and you'll see it on some of my others, that when you have the undercutting, it just gives you a little bit better purchase on the handgun. And in this case, you don't have that undercutting. It's a cost that they saved on, but again, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just a feature that's lacking there. The finish is a matte black finish. It also has a skeletonized hammer, as well as an extended and serrated mag release button. So it's very easy to get to, very easy to use. Moving to the slide includes both a front and rear slide serrations. I don't necessarily use the front slide serration, doesn't make any difference to me, but it's part of the gun. The sights are a Metrolite tritium 3-dot system. So these are great day and night sights. And one of the great things is after 12 years, I can still put this on in a dark room, and these are almost as bright as any of the new tritium type sights I have in any of my other guns. So one of the concerns people have over time is whether or not these sights actually burn out and have to be replaced. At least in this instance, after 12 years, I can tell you that these sights are still very bright at night, still work great. Always really liked them. It doesn't have the tactical rail on here, but again, that's not that big of a deal for me. But after 12 years, these sights are still excellent, and I love them. Now, as far as the trigger pull, so again, all my guns have been safety checked on the table. It has a skeletonized trigger, and with verticalized serrations, as well as an over travel adjustment screw. I've made a few adjustments over the years, but really not much. And the great thing about this on my Lyman gauge is it comes in the trigger pull at a nice, smooth, clean breaking 3 pound 6 ounces, which is excellent. It also has a nice, smooth reset without a creep. So, and if you start shooting your 1911s, especially more higher end 1911s, you're going to be very sensitive to the triggers. And this is one of the better triggers I've ever seen, especially on a production gun. So, exceptional trigger, excellent for this gun. Now, as far as accuracy and performance, I just put through, just to give you an idea, when it comes to 1911s, by the way, you're going to see different models where you see full steel as well as steel and aluminum combinations, things of that nature. Simple physics, right? The heavier the gun, the less felt recoil, and typically the more accuracy that you have. But as far as accuracy and performance, this is just to give you a target a sample of what I was able to produce with this at 10 yards. A typical bench rest. These are just Aguila standard 230 grain target rounds. Nothing special about them. If I were to use additional ammunition, I'm sure I would get better results from this. And then at 25 yards, this is a group I was able to put through here. So again, nothing special, but nice tight groups. And then again, I use my Kimber typically for tactical shooting, and that's really where it shines. And I can get consistent, great groups out of here. So again, one of the better 1911s I've had from an accuracy perspective. Now, as far as versions of the TLE over the years, they produce not only a 45 ACP, which you see here on the table, but they also now produce a 10mm model. And you're also going to see the additions of tactical rails. So you can buy either standard like we have here or the tactical rail models if you choose to put lasers, lights, and things like that on your 1911s. So one of the things about, just a couple observations about the Kimber, especially this one, is as I alluded to earlier, they use a full-length guide rod. And if you've ever field stripped a 1911, you know that you have to remove this plug, twist the or spin the bushing over, things like that. It can be a little bit more challenging when you've got a plug that's got a hole in it. So the only thing that the full-length guide rod creates is just a little bit more complexity, if you will, of field stripping your 1911. So you just got to be a little bit more careful working around that. When you look at the fit and finish here, it's somewhere probably between mil spec and custom, I would say, when you're comparing the two. Now, all in all, when it comes to Kimbers, and again, I've tested a number of different Kimbers, especially on this channel, this, in my opinion, might be the best Kimber ever produced. I've tested other Kimbers. You know, I don't like some of the finishes that Kimber uses in some of their other guns, in particular the Kim Pro finish that they've been using just recently, things of that nature. I don't particularly care for that. But when it comes to this gun, I think the LAPD had it right when they gave the specs out, and Kimber produced this, which was almost a mirror copy of that version, because it really is a solid, accurate, dependable 1911. It's not flashy. You know, it doesn't have these beautiful stainless, you know, aspects to it and these beautiful grips and things of that nature, but that's not what it was designed for. It was designed to be a tactical, highly reliable 1911 that works really well in duty type situations. And quite honestly, since the fact that I've even had this for 12 years speaks to the fact of the quality of what this Kimber provides, and the fact that it's still in production even to this day is a good indication of just how well Kimber made this gun and how great of a buy it is within the marketplace today. So if you like this video or you like our channel, please subscribe on YouTube, and thanks for watching.